Well, LAFC get a 2-1 victory over Toluca in the first leg of the CONCACAF Champions Cup semifinals. And this is what they needed, maybe not by the margin that they needed. Maybe they need to score a couple more goals, which we'll talk about. But they got the job done. They won their first leg, but there's still a lot to talk about. And there's a lot of concerns heading into this second leg of the CONCACAF Champions Cup semifinals. But before we get to that, guys, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that like button down below. It helps us out. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. 60% of our viewers are not subscribed to the channel. Also, make sure you guys hit that little bell notification so you never miss any of our videos. And MLS Moves is presented by FanDuel. Okay, so in this game, LAFC had a very unique situation. They were missing Denis Bouanga, who had a yellow card accumulation, so he missed the first leg of this series, and they're playing the game at home. Now, in this game, they really need to go in here and score as many goals as possible, which I know you're going to say, well, of course, that's always the goal, but they really needed to probably score at least have a 2 or 3 goal lead because of the history MLS teams have in Mexico. So there was a lot of pressure on this game. And we're going to start off with the first half, okay? In the first half, LAFC looked horrible, okay? They looked horrible. They lost possession 72 to 28%, 72 to Toluca, 28 to LAFC. And there was a plethora of problems with this team. So many problems with this team. Um, the first thing that stood out to me about this team in the first half was how bad Timothy Tillman is. Timothy Tillman was atrocious in this game. Atrocious. Now, he did have the goal. We'll talk about that later. But one good moment doesn't wipe away the entirety of, 10% of good doesn't wipe away 90% of bad. It just doesn't, right? He was bad in this game. He was bad in this game. So in the first half, he had a turnover where he gave the ball to Paulinho, who is, I remind you, the Golden Boot leader in this tournament. He has 6 goals in like 4 games. He has been incredible. They gave the ball to him inside the box. Now, luckily, nothing came of it. But then he had a chance on the rebound where he missed it on a volley. He was wide left. Then he had a header he missed. Now, that one might have been the second half, but he was just abysmal. Someone said during the stream that it was 11 versus 10. It was more like 12 versus 10. He was helping them out. It felt like he was helping Toluca out a lot in this game, especially early on. And it felt like the entire team just wasn't playing good outside of maybe Larice. And I don't blame Son Heung-min. I've said this all year long. And I said this several times. An attacker relies on the service they get. You cannot blame someone for not being able to score or do things in the final third if they don't have anybody who can effectively get them the ball. They have no one right now who can create chances in the midfield. They have no one who can win possession for them in the midfield. They have no quality of passing at all in the midfield. Their midfield is bad. It is. Delgado, Chouanier, Tillman, they're not good. They haven't been good. They're probably not going to be good. They need to upgrade the midfield badly. And also, too, Estacio was healthy scratch on the bench. Why did he not start? He played in this past weekend's game. He should have started in this game. This is a crucial match. You need to get the best players possible on the pitch for your team. And somehow Mark Dos Santos has him start on the bench. Makes no sense to me whatsoever. And they had Aaron Long as a left back. He was okay, but this is not the formation you would bring out if you're trying to score as many goals as you can against a team like Toluca to get a goal advantage, a couple goal advantage to head into the second leg. So anyway, I digress. Midfield was atrocious. Backline was fine. Hugo Lloris, incredible. Hugo Lloris had like 2 incredible saves in the first half. If not for him, this could have been ugly early on. Tillman was absolutely horrible. But with all that being said, LAFC did a pretty good job of preventing Toluca from scoring in the first half, and they were able to get a 0-0 draw after 45 minutes. So the first half, the attack was abysmal for LAFC. We've talked about this. They had 2 shots, 0 on target, 28% possession, 0.10 expected goal rate. Okay. So heading into the second half, I'm thinking, okay, you need to bring in Jude Terry. You need to bring in Estacio. You need to bring in Nathan Ordaz. You need to do something that's going to ignite this attack. Okay. And then Mark Dos Santos refused to make any substitutions after 45. Zero substitutions. That was very concerning. Nobody would watch that first half and think, okay, this team doesn't need to do any changes. They need to do exactly the same as what they did in the first half. Nobody would say that. The first half was horrible. Okay, so no changes happened. Now Tillman scored after a beautiful assist from Son Heung-min, his first assist in this game. So to put LAFC up 1-0. Then a couple minutes later, there was a good exchange between Son to David Martinez to Palencia. Palencia had a cross. Schaffelberg scored. They called it offside, which was BS. It was not offside. Delgado was kind of in the way of the defender, but it was just horrible reffing night. My God, the reffing was terrible tonight. That should have never been offside. There was no interference. Delgado didn't bring the defender down. He didn't block the goalkeeper's view, and he didn't even touch the ball. But they called offside and wipe away a crucial goal for LAFC. It should have been 2-0. It should have been 2-0. And they wasted like 6 minutes trying to look at that goal. Okay, so they wiped the goal clean. Everybody's pissed. Everyone's upset. Horrible call by the referee. Okay, so about 15 minutes later, Angulo for Toluca, they're starting to thread a little bit. They're starting to show some life. Scored an absolute beautiful goal. Cut right, scored on Hugo Lloris. Hugo Lloris has been incredible all year. He has been great for LAFC. There's only one knock on him is his age prevents him from being as athletic as he once was. And on this goal, he had to react and he had to stretch. And it's just not his strong suit for what he's doing at this point in his career. So he wasn't able to save it. And they scored to pull one back and tie this game at 1-1. When they scored that goal, because if you guys are new and don't know, in CONCACAF, there is the away goal rule. So if you score an away goal, it will give you the tiebreaker. It's essentially like scoring 1.5 goal. I know it's dumb, but just the way it is. So Toluca, even though they're tied, if it were to end like this score line on aggregate 1-1 into the next game, they would advance because of the away goal rule. So that's bad that LAFC conceded that away goal. So LAFC really needed to try to score again. Hey, everyone, quick word from our sponsor, FanDuel. If you're into soccer like I am, you already know how exciting La Liga, the Premier League, and MLS matches can get. With FanDuel, you can make it even more fun by placing bets on your favorite teams and matches across all 3 leagues. Whether it's a Premier League showdown, a La Liga thriller, or an MLS game with your local club, FanDuel makes it easy and exciting to bet on what you watch. Just remember, you have to be 21 years or older to play. Please bet responsibly and only if you're of legal age and in a state where it's allowed. Download the FanDuel app or head over to FanDuel.com, sign up, and get in on the action. Thanks for supporting the channel through FanDuel. They really need to try to score again. And, you know, there was a couple plays, too, where Tillman had some bad passes in the second half, even though he did score that goal. He's just not, his passing is just very, very mediocre. Like his lead balls are bad. Like there was a pass he had to Palencia and he had to stop for the ball. You know, his 3 passes was terrible. Okay. But in the 90th minute, okay, and added time, Son Heung-min had a free kick outside the box. Okay. And he whipped in a beautiful goal for Tafari. A beautiful goal. Tafari headed it in. If it was Tillman, he probably would have missed it. But that's another story. He had a beautiful cross on the free kick to Tafari. It was just perfect. It just skimmed right over the Toluca defender's head. It was perfect. Tafari finishes it, puts them up 2-1. And also, too, we have to mention this about Son Heung-min. People have been giving him grief all year long, okay? Unfairly, in my opinion. I think he's been good for what he's been given. He has no service, like I said. But here's something I bet a lot of people don't know. Son Heung-min has 14 assists in all competitions this year in 2026. 14 assists. Most players don't have 14 assists in their entire season. He's got 14 already. 14 in all competitions. He's got like 2 goals in all competitions and 14 assists. He had 2 assists tonight. 2 crucial assists. He was the player of the game for me for LAFC. He was. I mean, without him, they would not have scored. Okay? That's a fact. So he was the player of the game, and he had a crucial assist in the 90th minute to score that goal. to take them up 2-1. And Toluca did have a couple chances at the end, but they couldn't convert. The game was just sloppy, a lot of chippiness, a lot of bad calls by the ref. Um, and LAFC are able to win 2-1. They're able to get that point. They're able to get that goal advantage heading into their second leg against Toluca in Mexico, which is going to be hard, guys. It's going to be a hard game. Going to Mexico is always difficult for MLS teams to win in that environment. And LAFC do get Denis Bouanga back, but the altitude is crazy down there. So LAFC, you're going to have to play better. And I want to say Mark Dos Santos is going to have to coach better. He's got to make substitutions early. He didn't make his first substitution and bringing Eustáquio in or bringing in Ebobisse. He didn't make his first, I guess he made his first substitution at 67th minute to bring in Aaron Long, but he didn't make a plethora of substitutions until like the 80th minute when the team was kind of stalling. So he's got to be better with his in-game adjustments. He just does. He has to be better, especially if they want to win this. And they have a chance, and we'll see if they can. But I'm curious to know what you guys think. What was your thoughts on this game with LAFC versus Toluca? Were you impressed? Were you disappointed? Who was your player of the match? Let me know down below. Do you think they're going to win their leg two? What do you think the score prediction is going to be? If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you guys give it a like down below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit that little bell notification so you never miss any of our videos. And don't forget that MLS Moves was presented by FanDuel. Until next time, guys, I will see you all soon.